Well, let me just say good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Don't say it with such enthusiasm, media.
Sorry, good morning.
Thank you. Let me just remind you all that February is Heart Health Awareness Month, and because heart disease is still the #1 killer of Americans and Baltimoreans, and so today I'm joined by our Health Commissioner, Dr. Leanna Wynn, Julia Huggins, who is the co-chair of Go Red for Women and board member of the American Heart Association, and also China Boak Terrell, a survivor and an HAA volunteer. And I want to urge every resident in our city to take prevention and care of themselves. We've entered into some real robust efforts to help reduce heart disease in our own community. I think it was a couple months ago we started the Billion Step Challenge because we want everybody, and look, how many people wear a Fitbit? So even when I'm angry, and which I'm not right now, my resting heart rate is around 62, 57 normally, when I'm real calm. Does that mean anything to you, Ian? Well, if you checked yours, it'd probably be about 105 right now. So we're really taking proactive steps here in Baltimore to really focus on how we reduce heart conditions in our city. And I'm really grateful to the Department of Planning. They announced a new food mapping program, really helps us to understand how we can get a hold of healthy foods and so forth in our city. And I'm really thrilled to announce our partners because you all make a difference in how we go about the business of reducing heart disease in our communities. And today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and we invite all of you all, members of the media, to join us in our pop-up clinic. It's right down here in City Hall, in the Rotunda, where visitors can get their blood pressure checked, massages, Ian, for you specifically, and fun and win prizes. So with that, let me introduce our health commissioner, who is quite healthy, and I'm sure her heart resting rate is around 55 or 62.
Ooh, I don't know about that, Madam Mayor. I'm getting back into shape. As you know, I have a 5.5-month-old, and I'm working on getting my.
You got to run around.
Exactly, it's keeping me very busy. But yeah, I want to thank Mayor Pugh for her extraordinary leadership on health, on physical health, on mental health issues. You're an example to us, to me, about how much I should get up in the morning and get my steps in throughout the day. So thank you for everything that you're doing. I'm an emergency physician, and in the ER, I've treated many patients who have a diagnosis of heart disease. I've also treated far too many patients who die from it. Heart disease, as the mayor mentioned, is the #1 killer of men and women around the country and here in Baltimore City. And every year, nearly 2,000 Baltimoreans die from heart disease. Heart disease is often a silent killer because many people don't know that they have it until it's too late. And this applies in particular to women and to people of color. Studies have shown, for example, that women and people of color are often misdiagnosed before they're diagnosed with heart attacks. That's why we have to know what leads to heart disease: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and smoking. And I want to offer 3 things that we can all do today to protect ourselves and our families. Number 1 is stop smoking. Smoking is the #1 preventable contributor to heart disease. It also leads to other killers like cancer. The Baltimore City Health Department and our resources in Baltimore, we have a lot of support to help you quit. We also provide school-based projects, community education, and we do regular checks to ensure that our retailers are compliant with not selling cigarettes to minors. We recently launched, thanks to Madam Mayor, a new Healthy Air campaign that is working to eliminate the risks of second and third-hand smoke too. Remember that just 1 year after you quit smoking, you reduce your risk of heart disease by half. So it's never too late to begin to quit. Number 2 is keep our children healthy. 1 in 4 kids in Baltimore drink regular soda every day, and less than 1 in 5 of our children eat the recommended servings of fruits and vegetables, that is a statistic that we have to change completely. Now, Mayor Pugh has led efforts to get fruits and vegetables to areas that are healthy food priority areas, including helping our corner stores become healthier and getting groceries delivered to people as part of virtual supermarket. And we're also working to reduce the consumption of sodas, which are empty calories with no nutrition. And these sodas also lead our children to become obese, have diabetes, and later on to suffer from heart disease too. Number 3 is to get and stay active. Mayor Pugh's Billion Step Challenge is a year-long initiative to promote physical fitness and a more active lifestyle. Residents of Baltimore, I'm proud to announce, have logged over 306 million steps already.
Is that a lot, really? I mean, we got 600-some-odd-thousand people. So we need to all take more steps, seriously.
That's right. I need to do this too. So, and I need to follow the mayor's lead in it. So you can join today at BaltimoreBillion.com. Remember that all of us are at risk for heart disease. And so many of the patients I treated never thought that they could be affected, and their family members never knew that they could be affected too. So it's never too late or too early to start living healthier lifestyles. Thank you again, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And now we'll hear from Julia Huggins. She's our Go Red for Women co-chair.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Madam Mayor. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate you having me here today, Madam Mayor, and cannot thank the Mayor and Dr. Nguyen enough for being advocates of the life-saving message of the Heart Association and women's heart health. I would also like to thank Go Red for Women's national sponsors, CVS and Macy's, for their support of this very important women's health issue. CVS is offering free health screenings every Wednesday in February, beginning today. So please take 10 minutes for yourselves this month and go learn your numbers. It truly saves lives. So many of us have so many that depend upon us as women. We are mothers, we are grandmothers, we are wives. So we think of others before ourselves many, many times. This month, let's think of ourselves and really take the steps that we need to understand where our risks are. Also, Macy's is featuring 2 limited edition red dresses. This very one that I'm wearing today, they will offer the majority of the proceeds and donate them for the proceeds of these dresses to the Go Red for Women initiative. Cigna is proud to be a leading sponsor of the Go Red for Women here in Maryland. And I personally, as the co-chair of Go Red for Women movement this year, am honored to be leading the charge for women's heart health. I encourage all women to learn more about their #1 health threat, heart disease, and make easy lifestyle changes that Dr. Nguyen already educated us all on to make this risk decrease. Now it is my pleasure to introduce China Bok-Terrell, a heart survivor who is the epitome of why the work of the American Heart Association is so important. Thank you for being here, China.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very thankful and grateful, and thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm very grateful and thankful to be living proof of why prevention matters and how it works. When I was 27 years old, I was diagnosed with a giant aneurysm on my right atrium. Basically, what that means is that the wall of my right atrium ballooned out and filled with blood until it was about the size of my fist. And of course, you know that your heart is also the size of your fist. So on an echocardiogram, it actually looked as though I had 2 beating hearts. So obviously that was an emergency situation that required emergency open heart surgery within 3 days of its discovery. But here's where prevention enters the picture. I went to the doctor for something completely unrelated to my heart. And the doctor just did a pulse check, basically checked my vitals. Now, you'll recall that the Madam Mayor said that her resting heart rate is about 62 beats per minute. Well, at that time, my resting heart rate was about 120 beats per minute. But I did not know that that was a problem. And so knowledge truly saves lives. And Go Red for Women, Go Red Day means life for all based on sharing what it is that you know and based on doing simple things like going to the CVS and getting your free health screening, making sure that you talk at the dinner table. I always believed that my heart rate was so fast because I was doing so much. As a corporate lawyer, running around constantly, always busy, extracurricular activities. I also had a foster daughter at the time. That will definitely keep you busy. I just thought that maybe I wasn't working out enough or I wasn't fit enough. But in actuality, what I needed to do was make time for myself to actually check my vitals, to know my numbers, to understand that my resting heart rate was not what it was supposed to be. So prevention absolutely saves lives, and this is why I love what the American Heart Association does. They focus on prevention, and with every pulse check, that is how we save a life. So please visit the CVS, follow Dr. Lena Wynn's recommendations for staying heart healthy. Let's follow the example that Madam Mayor has set. Let's visit BaltimoreBillion.com, and please share what you know. You don't have to have a story to save a life.
So, any questions? Or did you want to share?
Yes,
So after you had your open heart surgery, how old were you when that happened?
I was 27. 27, and I basically looked the same. So what's interesting is that in the emergency room, the doctor said that it wasn't really medically indicated for him to follow up on my high heart rate. Heart disease doesn't have a particular face. So it just because, you may have a few extra pounds doesn't mean anything. Somebody could be very slender and feel very fit. In my rehab, after the open heart surgery, I saw a number of people who were fit, by our common understanding of the term, but had heart disease that they didn't know about. So it is very important to know our numbers and to get checked out.
Did you change anything about your life after the surgery?
Oh, absolutely. So one thing that I changed about my life was that, one, I realized that I am a very bad doctor. I'm not a doctor at all, in fact, and Google is not good for diagnosis. I should leave that to folks like Dr. Lena Wynn, who is an emergency physician. And I also realized that as women, as a woman especially, I felt that I had so many responsibilities relating to other people. I started to carve out more time for myself and to listen to my body and to understand how it was that I felt and how it was that I should be feeling. And if there was a gap between what I felt and what I should be feeling, then I addressed that. So I started going to the doctor more. I had symptoms, but of course the symptoms that show up in women are oftentimes different than the symptoms that show up in men. And so now when I have a symptom, I go to the doctor and report it, because then if something ever is actually wrong, someone can look at my history and see the history of symptoms. I made it more complicated to diagnose what I had because I was never actually making it to the doctor to report symptoms. I was always canceling those appointments because a work meeting would come up or a family responsibility would come up.
And you said you have a foster daughter.
I did at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was going to say, are you teaching any of the young kids kind of what you went through then?
Well, I love to do work with young people, so everywhere I go and in anything I do, I share this story. And so although I no longer have my foster daughter, she's very much still a part of our family, I have also my own daughter now who is 11 months and who is in this room, except that she was starting to talk. So she had to talk in the hallway. But at our home, we are extremely conscious. And one of the things that I very much hope to instill in my daughter, and that I hope I can share with anyone that I meet, is truly what we've had an opportunity to learn from Madam Mayor, to be fit and to be fit as early as possible. And even if you can start being fit at any time. I know many people who started running in their 60s and that now do marathons. And so this is the number one thing. I'm just hoping to teach my daughter to be fit, and I know the Madam Mayor is an avid runner, and that health is very, very important for her and for our city.
Yeah, and it's not just the running. I mean, we can walk, exercise, but also what you're eating. We talk about cholesterol levels, fried foods and all those things. All of those things we have to take in consideration, because sometimes the fittest person may not necessarily be the healthiest person.
That's exactly right.
Could you spell your last name, please?
My last name is Terrell, T as in Tango, E-R-R-E-L-L, and I go by China Boak, B-O-A-K, Terrell. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Oh,
China.
sorry.
Your first name?
Yes, sir. China, just like the country. And
Oh.
I'm the third one in my family. My daughter's the fourth one. Thank you. Just threw that in there.
Any more questions? So don't forget Macy's, the red dress. Where's the model? There's a whole red dress collection, and they contribute to the American Heart Association. And also, please don't forget to downstairs 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. today. We have a pop-up clinic, so you can get your blood pressure checked and all of those great things. So, and don't forget, this is Heart Health Month. Thank you all.
H-U-G-G-I-S. H-U-G-G-I-N.
Yeah, initially, we didn't know what's.
Is everybody here? Where's Jason? Good. So, you know, this is the time of year that we announce one of my favorite programs, and that's certainly Youth Works. Last year, we put 8,900 young people to work for the summer. And this year, for $1,600 for 5 weeks, we can put more young people to work this summer. What I want you to know is that the applications are really high and up. In 24 hours, 2,000 young people had already registered to be a part of the Youth Works program. And by the end of the week, 5,000 young people had already applied. Now we're at 11,000 young people, and certainly that's where we were almost at the end of last year, so we're up. And so we expect that there'll be even more. This is why it's really important for us not only to provide quality experiences for these young people, but for the business community to understand how important this is. You know, we need to make sure that young people are getting the kind of job experience that will lead them down the right path. You can donate the $1,600, but what we really are asking companies and corporations to do is to take these individuals these young people into their businesses and teach them skills and show them the opportunities that they probably may not have thought were available, nor could they possibly dream of. I can tell you that on May the 9th, one of the things, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but our Youth Works program is an opportunity for us to give young people gainful employment and also introduce them to other employment opportunities. We do it in the city from every agency, from the Public Works Department to Parks and Recreation, and now we're also including our police department. I just again want to thank the Office of Employment Development for all the work that you all do on behalf of young people and the other challenges that you're confronted with every day. So I'd like to introduce Jason Perkins Cohen, our Youth Works employer and Youth Works alumni. He will introduce other Youth Work employers and Youth Work alumni, but Jason heads this program and has taken it on with such a sense of urgency and pride. So Jason, I want to say thank you for all the work that you've done, but more importantly for the work that you will do. Thank you. Jason Perkins Cohen.
Once again, I'm Jason Perkins Cohen. I'm the Director of the Office of Employment Development. Scooch on up. Madam Mayor, I want to thank you. She mentions the sense of urgency that comes from the mayor. You all see what she says and does in front of the cameras, but it's really what she does behind the scenes that help young people know about this program and register and encourages employers to step up and hire. Madam Mayor mentioned 11,000. Overnight, we're now at 12,000 young people that have registered for this program. That is 42% higher than at the same time 2 years ago, and approximately 25% higher than it was last year. It is booming. And why is it booming? Young people want to work. They want to work here, and they're desperate to work. But today isn't really just about young people registering. Today, as the mayor announced, is really about employers and the opportunities for them. Today, you're going to hear some stories from some of the employers that have hired from Youth Works in the past. You'll also hear from the young people who have worked for them, so you'll hear from both sides. These are just a couple of the stories. We have so many more. I was in a meeting yesterday that had nothing to do with Youth Works, and the employer came up and mentioned that he had hired 4 Youth Works from last summer, and he kept them on. So this is not a charity. This is an opportunity for private sector employers to find their future workforce. You're not just doing a good deed. And when you've got 12,000 people in the pool, we can be certain that we have got a great young person or more than one young person who's a good fit for your employer. As the mayor mentioned, we're really asking two things, or one of two things from employers. We're asking them to preferably hire or donate, and they can do either at YouthWorks, there's a website, youthworks.oedworks.com.
Or both.
Or both. We love both. Absolutely. So it is my pleasure to introduce the chair of our board, the Baltimore Workforce Development Board, as of last July 1st, also works at Hopkins, Yariella Kerr-Donovan. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's my pleasure, and I'm delighted to be able to serve as the chair of the Baltimore Workforce Development Board with a myriad of wonderful business partners and community partners. The goal of our board is to really provide for our city a workforce that is prepared and engaged, and a workforce that can fill the openings that our employers have. And so we work hard to do that. And in looking at our workforce, youth is an integral part of that. Youth Works and the work that the Youth Works provides our youth is integral to the work that we need to do as employers in developing and continuing our businesses and our growth. So it's really a return on investment in supporting Youth Works, because it is our future workforce. How do you continue to grow your business, serve the city without that investment in workforce? You can't. And youth are the answer to that. They are our future. And as Jason mentioned, I also serve as the Senior Director of Workforce Development for the Johns Hopkins Medicine, and we have been an integral partner with the city for the last 23 years in providing summer experiences for our Baltimore City youth. And I have to tell you, from that perspective, it has been invaluable to our departments and our managers. We supported 400 students last summer, and we're going to support 400 students again this summer. And our departments are eager and excited to really open up our organization to the students. So my ask for employers is to really, if you're looking to invest in yourselves, this is the program that you need to invest in, with your funding support, but also most importantly, the mentorship and guidance that you will provide the young people when you bring them into your companies, and help develop their skills so that they can then be the return on investment that you will be working with in the future. So thank you.
Thank you. Now Pam Clark, who is our Senior Project Manager for Viola North America.
Good morning. How are you? Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Quite welcome.
I work for Veolia, which is the district energy in Baltimore City. I have a very unique personal perspective on youth employment. I was given the opportunity many years ago through a Baltimore City youth employment program to participate in a very similar scenario where I had the opportunity to work in an industry that I was not necessarily aware of. We have been fortunate enough to foster this Hire One program for over a decade at Veolia and bring youth in to mentor them. It's an opportunity to educate and expose these youth to a career that they may not be necessarily aware of. They're at a point in their life where they are making career and life-changing decisions. And we are hoping that by bringing them in with that energy and that vitality that they bring to the organization, that they will consider a career in energy, water, wastewater, environmental sustainability, something they may not be typically considering in their educational path. Youth programs are an investment in our community. They bring that vitality I spoke of to our organization, and they carry it back to their community. The word spreads, as you can see from the increase in students that are enrolling this year. By participating in the program, we are doing more than hiring an intern. We are investing in our future. This is our future workforce. They bring to them the real life experience and workplace expectations. We bring the etiquette such as attendance and punctuality. We are helping these students grow and develop the confidence through personal interaction on the job. The hiring process with Hire One is extremely streamlined. We get a job coach. They do pre-screening. They help build their resume. We are presented with a student who is in line with our work objectives. Our interns were originally scheduled to work for 6 weeks this summer. We were so pleased with their development that we extended offers to 2 students to continue to work year-round. With me is Devontae Robinson, who is a junior at Morgan State University in construction management. I would like to ask him to speak briefly on his experience and opportunities. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Before I begin my speech, I would like to thank Pam for giving such a wonderful speech. So, from my experience, I grew up in Baltimore City for all my years, and for the communities that I've been brought up in, such as Park Heights, North Avenue, in these urban communities, I experience a lack of opportunity. I experience that, a lot of youth doesn't have the opportunity to grow and prosper. And if we had a lot of opportunities, it wouldn't be such of negative reinforcements in some of these areas that we see that's not really promising. And I feel as though if we are given a shot and given the opportunity, there's so much that we can accomplish. And right now, I can honestly say that my city is not doing as much as it possibly can be. It can be doing so much better if we was given a shot and opportunity. But, if it wasn't so hard to, go to some of these businesses and talk to these people and get a job and get these opportunities, then it wouldn't be so much, pressure on youth to prosper in such a city where there is as much to accomplish. And I was so fortunate enough to get a shot through Hire One and was hired for Viola Energy. And with that, I was able to develop such a prominent speaking skills, develop strong communication skills, and I was able to talk to my employers with, respect and understanding that we are both here to accomplish the job. And I would never ever able to accomplish that if I wasn't given that shot. And I'm here today to, lend my voice and ask you guys to get someone else that shot, because I wouldn't be here today if I wasn't given the opportunity. So with that being said, Viola Energy prepared me for my future in construction management because it helps me understand drawings, and it also helps me understand that, I have a voice and I can actually speak for people. And with that being said, if I can leave an idea with you guys, if you had the ability to change someone's future, would you do it, or would you spend the rest of your life wondering if you can?
Can you say your name and spell it?
My name is Devontae Robinson, Devonte, and Robinson, that's Jackie Robinson.
Here's your speech. Thank you. Lizzie Carlson. Lizzie is the general manager of Merit Athletic Clubs at Fort Avenue.
Yes.
Lizzie.
Hi, my name is Lizzie Carlson, and I'm the general manager at Merit Clubs Fort Avenue. Over the last 41 years, Merit Clubs has become the premier choice in health clubs for the Maryland area. Family owned for all 41 years, we have grown to 9 clubs, focusing on keeping Baltimore fit and healthy. This past year was the first year that Merit Clubs has worked with the Youth Works program, and I could not be happier with the outcome. It has brought such value to my team. The value that an employee like Will brings to our team can be measured with smiles and happy members. For example, Will and myself worked a 5 a.m. shift on Halloween morning. As you can imagine, people coming to the gym at 5 a.m. are not normally full of energy, nor are they fully awake. That morning, Will greeted every member while wearing his Transformers mask, and his voice sounded just like Optimus Prime. He was able to break a smile on pretty much every member's faces and was able to connect with our young millennial members on a personal basis. He has built such great relationships with so many of them. Will shows pride in what he does and is always willing to go the extra mile. Whether it be picking up an extra shift or staying late, he has truly embraced the Merit core values and has fully embraced our company culture. With Merit Clubs, my title is general manager, but we don't see ourselves as managers, we see ourselves as leaders. To be able to invest my time and energy into someone who is so willing to learn and involve themselves in this industry is so refreshing. As a leader, I want to make sure I can develop and grow employees and help them achieve their goals. Seeing someone like Will continue to improve and grow with our company has been such a rewarding experience. From start to finish, the process with YouthWorks has been such a breeze. From preparing Will for his interview, keeping us in direct contact with his job coach, and making sure Will was ready to take on this new responsibility with confidence, I highly recommend this program to anyone who is looking to increase their team with well-trained, responsible, and ready-to-learn young professionals. I want to now introduce William Gladden. He started his career here at Merit as a summer intern and now works as a welcome desk associate. As a welcome desk team member, Will greets members, helps with our pro shop sales, makes smoothies, chats with prospective members about benefits that the club has to offer, such as personal training, group fitness, events and programs, and our outdoor pool. Will is always willing to go the extra mile, and he's always thinking a step ahead to anticipate our members' needs. He is truly what we call a universal soldier, always willing to step in and help out. We have noticed such energy and enthusiasm from Will that we wanted to continue his development here at Merit and have currently enrolled him in additional training to assist with his growth. Ladies and gentlemen, William Gladden.
Hello, everyone. First thing I would like to do is say thank you, Madam Pugh, for having us here today.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to say thank you to Lizzie for, giving that bomb speech. All right, but now we're here for business. My name is William Gladden, and I started YouthWorks in 2014. That was my first time starting with YouthWorks. I started in the CJC program. It was Parks and Recreations. That job told me and showed me how to have true work grit, how to come to work and get everything done. I didn't have many opportunities growing up. I couldn't go to the best schools. I went from Baltimore to Georgia for my high school years because I thought opportunities would be better. Coming to YouthWorks in last year, I didn't have much. I didn't do much, and there wasn't really anything that I could do. I would go to jobs, I would look for jobs, but nobody would hire me because of either how I look, how I talk, or just a perception of what my name is. I started YouthWorks last year with the Hire One program, and I never heard of Merit Club a day in my life, not one time. But from the first day I walked in there, walked to the pool, introduced myself to everyone, it felt like a family. I worked hard, came every day on time, and when I say on time, I mean 45 minutes early. I don't mean on time. And I made sure that I got everything done. And on my first day there, I didn't waste no time. I asked them, after the program, would y'all like to hire me? And he said yes. So I finished out the 6 weeks, filled out my application. 2 weeks later, I was hired. Started working at the front desk, met Lizzie for the first time, all the co-workers there, all the members there, great people. It showed me how to have good communication skills, how to talk to people face to face, how to greet people, how to say goodbye to people. I already had manners, but it polished them. It made them better. I would like to say one thing to all the businesses out there: hire some youth this summer. Some of the freshest and creative minds dwell in the city. Everywhere you look, youth is the future and the culture of Baltimore City. And how can we expand anything without starting at the bottom? The youth is the ground, and we gotta bring the ground up. If I could leave you with one thing, just know this: in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. This may be a hard, tedious task, but through the work that you give into us, the work YouthWorks put in, Madam Pugh being the greatest mayor of all time, we can get everything done. So we all good. Thank you.
Thank you. We might hire him. Kim Kiles is principal of ABS Capital Partners. Kim? She's not here, so who's?
But Lourdes.
Lourdes is here. Lourdes Bird is a youth worker at ABS Capital Partners.
First, I want to say thank you, Madam Mayor, for the opportunity to be here. It's really such an honor. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lourdes Bird, and I'm 17 years old. I currently attend Reginald F. Lewis as a senior, and I have worked with the YouthWorks for 3 consecutive summers. I'm excited for my chance to meet Mayor Pugh in person, and equally excited for the opportunity to spread awareness and stress the importance of placing young city residents to work through the YouthWorks Summer Jobs Program. My most impressionable experience was working at ABS Capital, located on Pratt Street, through Hire One Youth. ABS Capital is a private venture capital firm that builds partnerships with other businesses, investing to promote growth. Working within the company introduced me to an authentic, real-world approach to business. Starting from an agenda of deadlines I was expected to meet with each project, to the engaged and healthy atmosphere of meeting and interacting with influential people. My coworkers engaged themselves with me daily, providing me with guidance, answering any questions I might have had, and engrossing themselves with my college interests and any other future plans. After a couple weeks of working there, the Baltimore Business Journal came to the company and interviewed me about my set goals and experience working with the company. Thinking back, I realized that the most important concept of my summer experience was that I could work with my community, contribute to a bigger picture. There's an equal opportunity for both work sites and young people in this equation. It's the process of getting and giving back, helping out one another that feels great. YouthWorks makes so much possible for the city of Baltimore. I'm especially grateful that I could play a part within it that I encourage everyone from youth to the business community to get involved.
Thank you. Thank you. I know I see some other employers up here. Sure.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. This was with her yesterday, was it?
East-
the dog?
Yes, SPCA, yes.
I had to explain to them, no pets, no people, no plants.
That's
I
right.
will walk a dog.
It's just a pleasure once again to partner with the Mayor's Office of Employment Development and the Mayor for her leadership on the YouthWorks program. Last summer, we funded 100 YouthWorks placements, and we again will fund another 100 YouthWorks placements on behalf of the Port Covington Development Team. We have found that this is an investment not just in our future, but actually in our today. I think as the young people have shown us today, this really is an investment that pays huge dividends. As a former young person who participated in this program, I just know I would not be a lawyer if it weren't for this program. And so the fact of the matter is that if we can allow for young people to have their dreams come true, $1,600 is a small price.
Absolutely.
And I just urge other businesses to partner with the mayor. Her leadership is tremendous on this front and many others to really move this city forward. And the enthusiasm of the young people should be met equally by the businesses in our community, because ultimately we all benefit when all of them succeed. Thank you so much.
Anybody else?
Good morning, Madam
Good morning.
Mayor. Hi, my name is Harry Holt, and I am a member of the Baltimore Workforce Development Board. And as a member of the board, I'm very excited about being able to help support and promote the Youth Works program. Also, as a employer for Biff Group Technologies, we've had Youth Work interns the last couple of summers. We're very excited about having another student work with us this summer. I feel that it's so important to give young students the exposure to real work environments to help them be better prepared to transition into the world of work, to complement the educational experiences they bring. And we find that they bring a lot of new energy and new ideas into the workplace, and very excited about partnering with the mayor and the Office of Employment Development this summer for Youth Works again. Thank you.
Jason?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We talk about the participants in this program, how important the youth are. We certainly talk about the employers. There's another really key piece to this puzzle, which is the family members and how YouthWorks impacts them, what it means to them. And Lourdes was kind enough to bring her mother here, and I was wondering if she wouldn't mind saying a couple words about what it means to her. Thank you.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm happy to be here, and it's such a pleasure to meet you, Mayor Pugh.
Thank you.
I really appreciate all that you've done for the city, and we all have wonderful things to say about you. I personally want to thank the business community, as well as YouthWorks in general, and for all the youth that are involved in this program. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I really commend Baltimore for stepping up for our youth. It really will make a difference, and I'm just here to say thank you on behalf of myself, my family, Lourdes Bird, and the business community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me just add one other thing. Last year, we had to raise $14 million for this program, and we're going to need more, as you can see. 11,000 young people already. We still go until March
2nd.
March the 2nd. So we've got almost a month left. So at this rate, we probably will hit something close to 15,000, which means that I've got to raise a lot more money. So those who stepped up to the plate, I might have to call you and say, step up a little bit more, because we got to make sure these young people work. Every child who wants a job, we ought to make sure that they get a job. No child who wants the opportunity should not be able to get that in this city. We have the largest youth work program in the country. And so we want to continue to be the best for our young people, because again, it changes lives, it helps to grow them, and more importantly, it provides them with experience that they would not ordinarily get. And so again, I'm asking the business community, please, I need your help. And you know, you'll hear from me. I'll be on the phone calling folks and saying, step up to the plate. We need your help. But I'm also going to say this to the media folk. You know, you all should be coming in here this summer with somebody, with you, some young person who wants the opportunity to be a part of the media, to learn your trade as well. because all of us at some point, well, will be replaced, and we should be making sure that our young people have the opportunity to learn about your business as well. So I look forward to your young people joining you this summer as we grow this program, because we're really going to have to grow this program this year. Thank you. Any questions?
How many job slots do you have available as of now, and what do you attribute the increase in applications to?
So the two questions there, of course. So the job slots always come a little bit later. We're actually ahead of where we were last year. We're somewhere around 3,500. We've got literally thousands of other job slots that we're narrowing down. It's obviously a formal commitment, so we're ahead of last year. Last year, as Madam Mayor said, 8,800. I have no reason to believe that we'll be short of that this year. I expect to be ahead of that. But as also the mayor pointed out, it is about resources. I also want to point out, when we talk about $1,600 per young person, it's paying their wages. It's not a gift to the city. It's going straight into the pockets of young people. This summer, the minimum wage on July 1st will be $10.10 an hour, and every young person who participates in this program will be paid at least $10.10 an hour. Obviously, if a private sector employer wants to pay more, that's fine, but that's what it goes to. In terms of why the numbers are skyrocketing, look, I think clearly young people are having positive experiences. No one is required to participate in this program. Our marketing is not any different than it was, and they're having really positive experiences and want more. And you heard a few of the stories just now. And I also think one of the themes that I hope that you picked on from several of the young people was, it's actually not just about one summer. These are things that they build upon. Often they enroll in the program when they're 14 years old. They're not ready for the private sector. The private sector isn't going to hire 14-year-olds typically. They work in the public sector or with a nonprofit. They build those skills and job readiness skills, and then the next year they're ready for the private sector, and that's what we're trying to do here. Yes.
Last.
So William, how do you spell your last name, please?
William, and my last name is spelled Gladden.
First and last?
Yes, please.
Okay, Lourdes, Lourdes, last name Bird, Byrd.
Thank you, everybody. Congratulations. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Yeah, you can just hand it to him. Okay. Okay, I'll take a few questions.
Madam Mayor, the police department announced a new corruption investigation unit to look into the actions of the gun trace task force. But why should the public have confidence in such a unit when it took a federal investigation in the first place to uncover the corruption of the gun trace task force?
Well, let me just say, we have a new commissioner who set up this new task force. I have every confidence in his ability to lead the department, and we ask the public to give their confidence towards his efforts. We've experienced some great things, I think, in just the last month in his efforts, and I'm excited about the work that he's going to do, so I have confidence in him, and I'd ask the public too.
With the implementation of this new unit, what does that say about the efficacy of the current internal affairs unit within the police department?
Well, let's just say this. Much of what we're discovering are individuals who've been in the police department and in that particular unit. That particular unit has been already broken up, and as you well know, these people are at trial. I think this is the last day of their trial. And with the consent decree, one of the reasons that we're under consent decree is because of some of the activities of our police department. That 163-page report outlined many of these particular issues. And so with the consent decree, the oversight committee, the monitoring, I think that the Baltimore community will see a police department that they can be proud of.
So have you been following the testimony from the trial?
No, I have not. No.
So
No, I have not. Look, I got to run a city. I mean, I don't have time to sit in a trial, but let me just say this. Well, I have not had a chance to, I don't even get a chance to read all the articles that you write. I mean, I don't have time to just read articles, but we do hear some of the testimony that's taken place, and I think as anybody would be in our community, would be surprised by some of the accusations that have been made, some of the testimony that has been had. But again, the reason we have a consent decree is because of some of the activities that have been portrayed by a few members of our police department. The majority of our police department go to work every day to protect the citizens of Baltimore.
So last Friday, in Annapolis, D'Souza and you were standing there saying that he was going to make internal changes to the police department.
Absolutely.
Is the corruption unit task force that he's built, is that his internal changes? Or
Oh, no, there's quite a few, and I think that he'll be announcing those sometime next week.
Okay, because I thought they were going to be Monday. That's why I was.
Well, I'm not sure whether it'll be Monday, but I know it will be one day next week. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be one day next week.
So there are internal changes as far as
Staffing, reorganization,
Okay.
yes. And even when you look at the splits that he's put together, you can see already some of the implications of the blitz, the VRI, in terms of violence reduction in the city. And as I said before, when we appointed Commissioner Designee D'Souza in this position, this is because of his interaction with the VRI and his initiative, his Blitz initiative that is making a difference in the city in terms of violence reduction.
Would you think this will come after his executive nomination? I mean, after his executive hearing?
I know that he's looking at doing that sometime next week. Okay? But and as soon as he does, he'll announce it publicly for you.
Madam Mayor, if you go through with punitive damages, do you think that'll hurt recruitment?
No, it hasn't hurt recruitment thus far.
Just following up on that, Madam Mayor, I know the city solicitor said that we're not changing our policies about, indemnifying officers, but the union came out with this memo to its members, and they're telling them, hey, you may have to pay out money from your salary to pay future punitive damages, and keep this in mind as you're performing your duties. So what concern is there that even though the city solicitor may not say there's nothing new happening, that the police officers are going to take this very differently?
Well, let me just say, and you can answer as well. If you watch what we're doing every single day, I've invited you all to the VRI to see what's taking place. If you just follow the numbers where we are currently today, these commanders and these police officers take reducing violence in our city very seriously. And just in the last 30 days, and this year compared to last year, we see a reduction in violence, a reduction in homicides, a reduction in non-fatal shootings. In fact, we're down in every category. So I believe that this police department comes, for the most part, the majority of them, to protect and serve. Again, I will refer back to our consent decree, why we're under a consent decree, and because we've got to improve, we've got to change, we've got to look at all of the issues that have impacted this police department. That report covered a number of years, and so we're following that consent decree, and I think that we have the proper tools in order to bring about the change along with the new commissioner that need to take place.
On the question of punitive damages, you'll have to ask the FOP leadership why that message went out when and as it did. But I invite you to consult with the county attorney in Baltimore County, Howard County, Anne Arundel County, Attorney General Brian Frosch. Every law department in the state follows the same rules. There is absolutely nothing new here regarding punitive damages. Nothing new.
So I think that there's some confusion about when a jury finds this malice and then awards the punitive damages. The things on the BOE agenda say, we don't think the city is responsible for this. Is the officer responsible? Is that settled law? Or is it that nobody's responsible?
What's settled law is that the government may not promise in advance, in writing, to pay punitive damages for any employee, not just police officers. And if you think about it, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Has any police officer ever paid?
Not to my knowledge. To my knowledge, no Baltimore City police officer has ever paid punitive damages as a result of a jury.
What happens to the plaintiffs? They just get left.
Well, remember, the vast majority of these cases get settled. So there's never even a discussion about punitive damages. This is a very, very small percentage, minuscule percentage of cases that actually go to trial where punitive damages are awarded. And in any case, we will appeal the punitive damages award because we don't believe it's appropriate ever.
Okay, any other questions, you all? Because I'm getting ready to leave.
When it comes to all the corruption that we've been hearing from this gun case task force trial, it keeps sounding like it's spreading to different people, maybe not just necessarily in the gun case task force. And I've spoken with people in urban areas in the city who have zero trust of police officers and have had zero trust in police officers over the past several years. How do you win them back together?
Well, again, I go to the community meetings. I've been to the police community relations meetings, and people have talked to us about how they're feeling about the police department, how they see more visibility of police officers on the street. Their confidence is growing. And again, I mean, I would expect that there would be some sense of lack of confidence because of the consent decree. That's why it came about. And you'll hear from the commissioner sometime next week about how he's looking at all of these issues and how he's created different units to address this. And I think that he will restore, along with the commanders and so forth, that are working every day to reduce violence in our city and is showing some promise.
I think the thing with the consent decree is that we're saying the policies that were the acknowledged policies of the department were wrong and unconstitutional. The GTTF case, it's like these cops were not doing what they were told, they were just ripping people off. Can the consent decree address cops who are just going to steal from people?
Well, I think that, again, the initiatives that the police commissioner will put in place that you'll hear about next week will certainly address all of those issues.
Madam Mayor, what was your reaction to the allegation made in the gun trace task force case that Detective Sean Suter took money from robberies with one of the officers who's pled guilty?
Well, you know, I think people say different things. I don't know the outcome of that or the conversations, but anybody's name who's brought up, and the commissioner will share that with you, will go on a list of people who they will take a closer look at.
And what kind of review has the commissioner done on the Suter case since he's come into office?
Well, I think you'll have to ask the commissioner. He'll have a press conference sometime next week.
Is he keeping you up to date on
Absolutely. Yes.
So what has he told you then about the Suter case?
Well, let me just say this. You know that I asked for a FBI investigation into the Suter case, and the FBI returned comments that they were not looking at this particular individual, said he was not under investigation, they were not looking at him. He was to testify, give testimony, as you well know, and we asked for a federal investigation because we want to make sure that all the I's were dotted and all the T's were crossed. And again, I think you can discuss that with the commissioner next week.
Madam Mayor, do you want them to clean house?
I want the commissioner to run his police department, and he's making changes, and I think, again, you'll hear about those next week. Okay? Thank you, everybody.